Performing at an elite level isn't about doing special things. It's about focusing on the fundamentals and the basics, then executing them with precision. A coach's job is to harness the energy of the players and direct it towards a common goal. As we gear up for the first ever Stars and Stripes Classic, I sat down with the head coach of the California Redwoods and Army Reservist, Nat St. Laurent. Nat's primary mission? Take a group of elite alpha lacrosse athletes, all capable of big things, and get them to focus on the little details. A skill he learned teaching soldiers to throw hand grenades as an instructor. He shares his Army lessons learned and how they've shaped him as a coach. Nat also gave me his perspective on the growth of the Premier Lacrosse League, how regional affiliation has enhanced the fan base, and how everything the PLL does is all out, including the two-point shot. Take a listen, watch, or read our conversation with one of the PLL's inaugural coaches. Then head over to our YouTube channel or your favorite podcast platform to catch all the action from the Stars and Stripes Classic. Don't forget to go to greenberetfoundation.org to join our 18 Series Match Challenge and support our team as the Snake Eaters take on the Frogmen. Coach, welcome to the Jedburgh podcast.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here. What an honor. This is awesome.
You got a busy day ahead of you. You're playing today, so it's the second day of the Fairfield weekend. You're the last game, so you're going to be the main event of the weekend as this place gets packed.
Can't wait. What an opportunity playing the defending champs. Last game, that'll be awesome.
So you're the head coach of the California Redwoods. You've been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
So you're the only coach of the California Redwoods, but also the newly minted California Redwoods, because this year is the first year where there's been a regional affiliation. So talk for a minute about the evolution of the PLL. I mean, we go back, it started in 2019. You had these 6 teams. It grew to 8.
Right.
And now here we are. We got regional affiliation. We're no longer doing a total independent, neutral venues. We got home teams. You got to be in San Diego, which honestly isn't that bad.
So
talk about it.
Yeah, so I've actually been doing a lot of reflecting on that lately, getting ready to go out to California. So far we've played at 2 venues where we were like the actual real away team because we were playing the home team, and you knew it right away. We had the off week this year, and then we played our first game against the Chaos in Carolina, and as soon as you took the field, it felt different. You're like, oh, okay, there's actually Chaos fans here. You're looking around, everything is Chaos. It wasn't like the PLL brand everywhere. But to go all the way back to, being able to be a part of this since 2019 and be in that inaugural championship game, was fortunate enough to coach the All-Star game that year, meet Jim Brown, and just watch this league develop the way it has. It's surreal. It's surreal. Just my son's watching some of the old games back. He kept on the DVR, so we've been watching some of those old games back, and there's been some pretty awesome moments. And it's been special to watch for the players, them get elevated to a stage that they've never been elevated before in lacrosse. And then there's the merge, and both leagues come together, and now we're finally regional. And this week is huge, but next week's very special. So special where the whole family's going to go out, and we're going to spend a week in California and just try to take it all in with that experience. And being in San Diego is pretty cool. I was fortunate enough the last time we were out there to head through the SEAL school, the Bud school, the facility over there, walk through that, which was extremely special. But see the World Games at this same stadium, and now we're going to go play in it. It's pretty exciting.
When you look at the path of, you talked about the players, you talked about the game, you talked about the PLL. We're sitting here at the entrance to the stadium right here, okay? And I was saying earlier that, we joked that the PLL doesn't do anything half-assed.
Not at all.
When they do it, they're all in.
Yeah.
And the crowd's building as we get closer to the start of the first game here in the next couple of hours, and we got people around us.
Right.
Talk about the fan base.
It's pretty special. Again, it's one of those things where you just feel it growing and growing. And again, I've been part of pro lacrosse for 10 years, and starting in 2019, you would go some places and people would be like, oh, are you, you coach lacrosse? What league is this? And now you fast forward it 2 years later, you go through the airport. It's to the point where a lot of times I'm not wearing my Redwood stuff just because, people are talking to you, they stop, and it's getting to the point where it's that big. And it's just been it's something that I ask myself all the time, like, how lucky am I? And how fortunate am I to be a part of it? But yeah, everywhere you go, every venue, every place we go, whatever the PLL does, it's all out. You feel special, and that's me as the coach. So I know my guys feel like superstars and rock stars when they walk into any facility, anywhere we go that the PLL is doing it. They feel real special, and that's important for the players, the coaches, and more important, all these little youngins running around to see the game elevated like this. My son's goal is to play in the PLL one day, like it was the NFL, and now it's like I want to go play in the PLL one day. So it's really cool to see that dream kind of shift to make this a realization that the PLL has done for those kids.
You spent 13 years in the Army Reserve.
Right.
We take a lot of lessons from leadership when we serve in the military.
100%.
You served as an instructor. And I think when we talk about having to become a coach, right? And what is a coach? You know, it's a mentor. It's somebody who has to get others to do things that they may not otherwise do at a level that they may never have even thought or dreamed of. Talk for a second about your military career and some of those lessons that you take as a coach now.
Oh, man. Well, I think the very first thing for me, and bear with me here a little bit, but, you know, coming from a military family, growing up outside of Fort Drum, New York, my father served, my brother served, and 9/11
It's about the only thing going on up there.
Yeah. We played a good brand of lacrosse up there, though, I will say that. But with that being said, you know, 9/11 happens, felt like I needed to do something. I was in college. I went and joined. And the first time you stand in a formation and you've got that American flag on your right shoulder, it hits you right between the eyes. And that's what hit me, where being part of something bigger than yourself is almost undescribable. You have to teach that. You have to buy that. You have to believe in that. And it becomes an honor. And I think that's one of the things I always tell our guys is, like, you're getting to put on a jersey that says the California Redwoods. You're representing a sport way bigger than yourself, and that's powerful. And years ago, I talked to the team in 2019 about you're somebody's why. And when you're a pro athlete and you know it's bigger than you, serving in a military, serving in a unit, that was like the very first lesson I learned right away. And then along the way, when you get into the instructor's piece, you know, teaching how to throw hand grenades, like, you got to be very specific on all the little details. Because if you don't, we were joking earlier, but, you know, the Army goes with the lowest bidder sometimes, and you got to be on point. You can't have a mistake. You can't make a mistake. And if you do, it could cost your buddy their chance of going home to their family. And when you put it in perspective that way, it's a game changer. So you have to pay really close attention to those little details. And that's the difference between winning and losing, right? And on the game field. And I tell our guys, I don't like comparing playing our game to going to war or preparing soldiers to go into battle, because we get to come home every game. But I understand that correlation, and it is extremely important to do those little things right and to do it with a purpose that's bigger than yourself. And so you hear those cliches all the time. We feel those. We know what that means when you're getting ready to go into theater or getting guys ready, trained up to go to theater. You got to be on point. And those are some of the biggest lessons that, you know, I've learned that I really bring into coaching quite a bit.
I want to ask you about player development.
Yeah.
Because when we look at the PLL player, you have this, what I would say, this awesome combination of someone who has a tremendous amount of skill. I say they've got, you know, the skill of a hockey player with their reaction time and their stick handling. They've got the endurance of a soccer player. They got the physicality of a football player. And you got to put them out there, and they're competing at such a high level, and it's so fast. How do you approach player development? And as you've seen the evolution of the player over the last couple of decades, what have you seen?
Yeah, and I think, well, the first thing that you approach in player development at this level is you really have to be on your game. Like, you know, I coach in the college level, and it's like a bigger margin of error. Like, you can take your time. There's a learning curve there. Here, you don't get a lot of time. You know, you get a TV timeout during the game. You talk to them during the week. You might get a couple seconds here and there, and it's just got to be, it's a quick point. And I think one thing that these young people need to realize, and people in general, are, yes, these are the best in the game, the best in the world, the best to do it. They want that feedback. They relish that. They want to know. They want to be held accountable. They want to know what they got to do to be better. And here, the margin is so small. It literally could just be a little thing of turning the right way when you pick up a ground ball, or, you know, understanding the read, like, hey, they're on your hands, you can throw the skip through, or it's, hey, just keep this thing simple. Move the ball forward and stay in the fight. So, like, those little details, coaching these guys up, you know, there's not a lot of form checking you got to do at this level. It's more of, you know, valuing the ball, when they can take a chance, when you want them to go be a player, go make a play, or when it's, hey, let's jab here. We don't need to throw a haymaker right now. Like, just get in the middle of the ring and let's throw some jabs here and make the simple play. And that's the development piece, because they all are alphas. They're all the best, and they all think whenever the game gets tight, I can make this play, I'm going to make this play. And that's when it's really harping on that first lesson I learned in the military. It's bigger than you. And none of these guys are selfish. They just are the best. They're going to make plays. They've hit so many game-winning shots, made so many game-winning saves, defensive stops, face-offs, that you almost have to contain that a little bit and to have them trust in the system that you're running. So I think those player developments, the in-game development, it's you got to be on point, and there's not a lot of it, so you got to make sure it's a quick point and you don't beat it to death.
The PLL's done some unique things with the league and with the play of the game. One of the most unique that they've done is the two-point shot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What's the deal with the two-point shot, and how has it changed the game?
Yeah, my face lights up because it's such a game changer. Like, I remember coaching pro lacrosse at one point, and then we get into this league, and the game goes so fast. 12-minute quarters, running time, and there was one game in like 2019 we were up 4. I'm like, oh, sweet, yeah. Okay, let's get a couple possessions here, and within 30 seconds they hit a 2 and a goal. I'm like, oh my God, it's a 1-goal game, all because of this 2-pointer. And there's been instances when you're down a lot of 4, 5, 6 goals. I think in year 1 in the championship we might have been down 8-3 in the third quarter, and with the 2-point shot we were right back in this thing. In fact, took a lead with 90 seconds to go in the game. So it is an absolute game changer. It's so fun. Every time a shot's taken in the game, you hold your breath. You're like, oh boy, they're shooting a 2. Bail us out, Jack. Bail us out, or all right, hit this. We need this, and it's a game changer. It's so exciting, and it's something I'd like to see in the college game one day too. But the evolution has been kind of like a basketball, right? When they put the 3-point shot in, it changed the game, and that's what the PLL is doing. The PLL is changing the game with the 2-pointer. It's fun, scary when you're winning, but when you hit a couple of those, it's pretty awesome.
Over the last couple of years, it's year 6 for you in the league. Your team's had ups and downs.
Yep.
Like you said, you've been in the championship, and then you've had some good years, some decent years in the middle.
Yep.
This year's been a challenging year.
Right.
From your position as a coach, where you've got to keep guys focused, you've got to keep their head in it, because it's not a long season, but it's not a short season.
Right.
You have a lot of games. There's a lot of areas where you can continuously improve.
Right.
Talk about the mindset that you approach this year, this season, and what you're telling the guys.
Well, this year it's been unique. I mean, a couple things have happened within the league as it evolved, right? There's free agency now. Yep. There's salary caps. They've really evolved this league, and because of that, all of those little things have impacted our rosters. And one of the things we keep telling our guys is we have the locker room right. The men in the room is the right group. We have to figure out a way to get better and just limit the things that we were doing wrong the previous game. It'll come together. And for us, I don't think anybody has more games in the second half of the season than us, because we've already had our bye week, so we've got 6 games left. We're 2 games away. We're literally 2 games away from winning the Western Conference Championship, and it starts tonight. So our mindset every game is 1-0. We can't do anything about the results from previous games. We can do something with how we handle the off week. We can do things about what we do during the week to get our mind and our body right in the film. But this week we got to go 1-0. And then if we don't, then we better get better going out to California and then be ready to go 1-0. Even though we've got 2 games, every game day is 1-0. And I think that was the mindset we started putting in last year a little bit. It helped us. And this year we're kind of back to that now, just 1-0. We got that 1 win in Boston. That was a huge win in front of a home crowd. It was special.
That's a Boston crowd. So being from Boston, that's a tough crowd.
They are some of the toughest fans around, I'll tell you that. And, so today we got the opportunity, and yeah, we're excited to go out to California with our home fans and get 2 of those games on our side for once. But it's a 1-0 mentality. Every week's a new game, new opportunity. Take advantage of it, make the most of it, be where your feet are most importantly, and go get it.
Mm-hmm. So there's still a lot of the season left. You talked about it, but I'm going to tell you that the main event, at least from my perspective, is on September 2nd. Because September 2nd, Gillette Stadium is where I'll call it the Battle Royale is going to happen, where we got the Stars and Stripes Classic, Green Berets versus Navy SEALs, in support of 2 great organizations. Obviously, I'm biased as a Green Beret and as a part of the Green Beret Foundation, but between us and the Navy SEAL Foundation, the PLL, has done an absolutely phenomenal job of putting this game together. And it's going to be there. It's going to be on ESPN Plus, and we're going to get to go head-to-head against the Navy SEALs in lacrosse. What are you looking forward to there?
Well, first and foremost, I'm really hoping I'm there to watch that thing live, because it is going to be incredibly special, and I hope everybody understands the magnitude of that game. Obviously, two great organizations, but the people competing on that field, the sacrifices they've made for our country, the things that they've done for all of us to be able to act the way that we do, to enjoy the life that we live, to be in a country that is great. Yes, it's struggling right now and it needs a little bit of help, but the people on that field gave us this opportunity to be where they are. So for me, it's way bigger than a game. And then when you boil it down to the pride factor of two of the elite forces going at it, I mean, I can't wait to see this. Like, it's going to be, they're not going to be able to turn over their compete level. You guys are trained a certain way, you're made a certain way, and you believe in things in a way that most people don't understand. And to be able to see that on one field, again, you have to tip your cap to the PLL for bringing that together and putting it out there so we can watch this. And, as a veteran that has a sliver of the experience that the guys on that field will have, my heart will be full. Like, my pride in our country, I'll wear the American flag that very proudly that day, and to be able to be in that arena and that event is going to be incredible.
I told Coach Seth Tierney, who was here before you, I said, people do not understand the rivalry between these two organizations, and it is going to manifest itself fully on national TV on that field.
It's coming,
because there's going to be nothing held back from either one of those two.
You guys
sides.
don't know how to hold anything back, right? It's just all in all the time, which is a lot like these guys that are going to compete today. There's no way to turn that compete level off, and you guys are very much the same way. So it's going to be a spectacular opportunity, and I'm excited. I'm really pumped.
Well, Coach, you got a big day ahead of you. You got to get the team ready. You're going to play here in a couple of hours. The first game's going off here real soon. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. Thank you for your service. And what we do as leaders, as coaches, even off the field, is the development of the next generation.
Right.
And you're doing that with these players, because when our careers are over, whether it be as an athlete or whether it be in the military, we got to put great people back into society, and that comes down to leadership, that comes down to coaches, and you're doing that every single day.
We're blessed to be around some of the best in the world here playing this sport, and they're going to, like our soldiers, right? We ask them to be someone special and make the world a better place. I believe that our players in the PLL are going to do that. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Good luck.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thanks.
American Jedburghs went on to form the foundation of the United States Special Forces and the Special Activities Directorate of the Central Intelligence Agency. Thanks for listening to the Jedburgh Podcast, an official program of the Green Beret Foundation. I'm your creator and host, Fran Racioppi. Join us next week for a new episode on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on YouTube for full episodes, highlights, and other long and short form content. If you like what you heard, give us a like and leave a review. Follow the Jedburgh Podcast and the Green Beret Foundation on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, or Threads. Send your comments and inquiries to fran@jedburghpodcast.com. As former members of Special Operations Forces, the Jedburgh Media Channel and the Green Beret Foundation remain committed to supporting all generations of U.S. Army Special Forces and their families. Thanks for joining us on this episode. How you prepare today determines success tomorrow.